WTMA Morning Show with Charlie James.
Good morning. It's 8:10, 10 minutes past 8 o'clock on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA, WTMA.com. There was a press conference yesterday. The Black Nationalist movement came together with the South Carolina Secessionists Party in what they're calling the Charleston Accord. Joining us right now, we got Shakem Akhet. He is on with us. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good. Glad to have you. Now, are you the leader of the Charleston Black Nationalist movement?
South Carolina, actually. I'm
okay.
in Charleston, but yes.
Okay, the South Carolina.
South Carolina.
How did this press conference come about between you and your group and James Messenger and the South Carolina Secessionists Party? What actually happened there to get you guys together yesterday?
Oh, man, it's a very interesting chain of events.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we kind of saw it heading in a bad direction.
Right.
Behind the scenes, a lot of members on both sides were receiving death threats. A lot of people were talking about doing harm to people.
Mm-hmm.
So us, seeing this go on, especially on social media, it kind of got to a point to where, especially after the Charlottesville incident happened, and we saw that here in Charleston, there was a call for the Confederate monuments, especially John C. Calhoun, to be taken down. So after that, there was a very interesting exchange on social media between several individuals about, fighting or
right.
doing whatever, shooting and all of this. So we had to, James and I had been in contact back and forth. I mean, we knew about each other because our groups, we see each other because, his group, they, flagging all over
right.
the city. They're in Folly Beach. They're waving the Confederate flags everywhere. And so we've had several exchanges, not friendly, but at that point, we saw it to be beneficial to make sure Charleston didn't turn out like Charlottesville, Virginia.
Right. So you two decided, you and James Messenger decided that you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Yeah, we have.
You have to. You're exactly right. You have to. It amazes me that this was going on in social media, and you saw did you see a cauldron starting to bubble and just about to overflow with anger out there?
Definitely, both of us did.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after they put the flag up on I-26, they were flagging on 26 and Aviation
right.
the day before yesterday in North Charleston, and that's when we started seeing people post like, okay, the next time they come with that Confederate flag in North Charleston, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So I started seeing people, make threats about what they're going to do the next time they start flagging in North Charleston. And, me, I'm a community activist. I go and try to help people, in the communities, prevent gun violence. That's
right.
one of my major things, trying to prevent gun violence, working with the city, and trying to help, people make better decisions in the school system. So seeing how, knowing that the tension is already high in the city of North Charleston, violence is already, out of whack.
Right.
Of course, somebody in the city of North Charleston would think to do something dumb to try to harm one of those individuals, and knowing that, they do assert their Second Amendment privilege and right to, to carry firearms. So they're very open about that. So, it's no secret. They do it legally. They have a constitutional right.
Right.
So knowing that these two elements and that sense of, anger and rage were there, all of those three things together put, it just created a situation to where we would probably see a racially motivated crime because of what's going on now in the media, the call to bring down the statue, plus the gun violence that's already existing in the city of North Charleston.
Yeah, basically we had a perfect storm brewing.
Oh, definitely.
So when you were talking with James Messenger and you were talking about, hey, we got to have this press conference, we got to get we got to show some unity as far as violence is concerned over these issues. How did that make you feel to actually have that conversation with James Messenger? Did that ease your tension at all?
That was the weirdest conversation in my life.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was.
It was weird because, you know, my perception of the South Carolina Secessionists Party and James Messenger was he was a white supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, you know, and by talking to him now, I understand fundamentally what he's saying. He's saying, you know, to me, that flag doesn't represent, you know, what my ancestors did wrong. It represents, you know, what they went through as far as their struggle in seceding from the country. Whether I agree with it or not, that's still his, you know, that's still his take on it. But it was a weird conversation because it almost felt like, you know, man, this, you know, I'm sitting next to a white supremacist. You know, what do? Do I slap him? Do I fight him? Do I, you know, talk to him?
Right.
And then after we began to formulate our arguments and talk to each other, the tension really eased. And I said, you know what? You know, this is a man just like I'm a man. And his goal in stopping the violence is the same as mine because he doesn't want to see Charleston up, you know, in an uprising the same way I don't want to see Charleston or North Charleston in an uprising. So, you know, and there were some other things that we talked about that we were in agreement on, which was, you know, surprising. But that's the benefit of talking to people who you really never would think about talking to. And now, you know, that created an understanding between us being two leaders in the area so that hopefully now we can use our influence to stop violence and to intercede when things go wrong, you know, whenever we're talking about, you know, in terms of racial issues.
So we're talking with Shakem Akhet. He is the leader of the South Carolina Black Nationalist Movement. When is did you sign the Charleston Accord yesterday?
We're going to sign it at a later date, but yes, we agreed to it, and we're definitely going to sign it. You got a copy of it?
I do not. I would love one.
Okay. I'll get you a copy.
Please do. I'd like a signed copy. And also, how has the rhetoric on social media been? Has it calmed down? Has it heated up?
No.
Are you seeing a response yet?
Okay, this is the thing. It's a twofold response.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were happy, and they said, you know what, this is what Charleston needs. But then you also have the side of the coin that's, you know, the Secessionist Party, why would you want to, you know, make peace with them? They're traitors. The flag is a sign of bigotry. You know, it's hate. You know, they should be flying the American flag, not the Confederate flag.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have that element. You know, then you had a group that says, okay, you know, we're going to go ahead and pull down the John C. Calhoun statue. You know, and they just go and create an event page and say, hey, we're going to go pull down this. So you got all of that still floating around in the midst of cooler heads trying to prevail and say stop.
So, well, Shakem, I just want to say thank you for being open enough to not only sit down and talk with James Messenger, but also to come on this show and give your side. And we're always open to you because anything that we can do to prevent further violence and just come together. And like you said, just sitting down and talking with someone can open up a lot of doors and a lot of windows that maybe you didn't know the two sides really had a lot of issues that they agree on. I applaud you for that. I applaud James Messenger and you guys for doing that. And, sir, thank you very much for being on the program today.
Yes, sir. And I get you a signed copy of that agreement that we had.
That is great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir. You take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Shakem Akhet on the program this morning. It's 20 minutes past 8 o'clock on the Big Talker, WTMA.